Hey all, Avros here with the next Lufenia boss fight. This one is for the Alphinaud LD release in the Heretics event. The Distorted Providence Lufenia Plus is the one we'll be doing here. It does say Magic's Deepest Chasm Lufenia Plus. It does usually say those with these Heretics events. They don't actually have the actual Heretic quest names in these. They always go with the what type of chasm they are. So this one is up against the Heretic Chimera Golems. They have a orb that will spawn at the start of the fight, cannot be cancelled, so it'll be there throughout the duration, and has an increase via taking HP damage from a debuff or special effect before their turn, and a bonus sphere is included for those, +3 for each time it happens, a limit of 8 maximum for the orb. So it's really about getting HP damage from debuffs, dots, stuff like that, so things like Exdeath or Alphinaud, obviously, with his new LD. They do have elemental resistances that does change throughout the fight. The way this works is if the goat head is the active one, like it is in the initial phases, it will be heavy resistance of fire and thunder. It will then switch to Lion, which has a heavy resistance of water and earth, and then Dragon, which is heavy resistance of ice and wind, and then back to Goat and continue through that in order. The other things to watch out for here is Body of Steel, a buff that will give them a 999% bravery damage reduction and makes them resist all delays, including break delay, makes them resistant to turn deletion, and resists also instant break, and it will occur when they get below 80% HP and again at below 20%. And is cancelled when they hit 74 and 14% HP respectively, so you don't need to get that damage through without dealing any bravery, so bravery gain isn't reduced necessarily by that effect, or HP poison, stuff like that to get them down below. While the orb attack in this one is not inherently lethal, it does recover them from break, removes all party buffs, removes their own debuffs including the Silver Framed, and inflicts 3 turns of Petrified Poison on all enemies and 2 turns of Burn on all enemies with a guaranteed hit, and resets the special cooldown, making the orb go back to its initial state. While this isn't inherently lethal, once your party members are petrified, there's not really much you can do to prevent them from dying. If you can cleanse it or wait out the petrify and not have them die, you can survive through it, but with the burn and the poisons you've got there, it's going to be very, very hard to sort of survive through it without a lot of pre-planning, so I'd recommend trying to control the orb more than trying to tank it for this fight, especially seeing as Ico can't ignore the orb in this one for anyone that wants to use that as a strategy for ignoring the orb. So with all that under control and explained, it's a 60-turn quest. We're going to take in a party of Gilgamesh and Ramza. These two are getting a lot of work lately. Definitely with the ultimate weapon we're working on here, Ramza has become a bit of a staple over Garnet at the moment. And Alphinaud for that HP poison. And for calls, we've got Sid Reigns to get some launches up during Gilgamesh's BT phase, Ceodore, and then Jack for the buffs. Bringing along Brothers, because we want the maximum bravery increase. We're not going to be getting launches all the time in this one. I'm going to look for an Exdeath friend here. I don't think... Hey, Latari's got one up. That's perfect. Because if we can get his BT buff up early, we can use that to really abuse the BT phases there. And this will complete Alphinaud's ultimate quest here, because I haven't used him since he's got his level 90. So we will go ahead and start the fight here. So, going to spawn in. You'll see that both of these golems don't have any bravery to begin with. They're both at a 0 bravery after we get them with a bit of draining here. And everything that's going to happen. There we go, from Shadow Flare. So it's going to make them nice and easy to break. We want to try and get around to having the poison on them as soon as possible, so we don't want to use anything like burst phases or anything early. So we'll go ahead and use Gilgamesh's LD attack to get up the bonus swords, because we're going to use them throughout this fight. And then, because we do have that Exdeath friend, we're not going to use him straight away. We're going to get up Terminal Disaster on Alphinaud. We're going to save him for when we want to use the burst phase, and we'll want to do that sometime after we lose that first Body of Steel at the 80% HP mark. And then we'll go ahead and use Icebread Storming Winter here with a Ramza. We want to get those buffs stacked up and getting one on both of them with a nice launch and getting some easy damage up to start with. Always a good way to start the fight. Also, it has a benefit of giving us some delay as well, so that'll make this just a little bit more effective there when we get some more turns. So that HP poison's keeping the orb under control. You'll see it's sitting there at a solid 6. It's not going to go down anymore. Hey, we got Ice Brand here for Gilgamesh as well, so that's going to help because we're going to get another set of launches with the battery. So that's going to help us get this one down under the 80% easily. Not quite. Okay. So now we're going to stop attacking the B-Boss here because... Oh no, to get down to the 80%. Didn't trigger yet. Alright, we're going to go for splash damage anyway, so we're going to go ahead and use Wild Dance here on A. Get it down a bit more, get the extra launch. We'll get some bravery back from... the launch there as well. No one had any bravery, there was no battery on that one. And you want to Body of Steel on B, and now it's got that 999% reduction, so something we need to keep an eye out on. Splash damage is going to be our friend here for this one. So we'll go ahead and use Obsidian Combination. You'll see it's also got the frame around its turn on the turn track now. We do need to be careful about that because we do want to make sure that we're tracking those, because now we can't break or delay them, so getting stuff like Apocalypse with Gilgamesh ain't going to be too helpful here, because obviously it's immune to the delay we'd get from that. So we'll go ahead and hit an Energy Drain on A, because it's getting almost down below. There we go, it's below. It's also got the Body of Steel. And here's where Ramza is going to come in handy. We're going to go ahead and hit Ultima. This should be enough. Yeah, notice those ones. Actually, maybe this is a bad idea. Yeah, it doesn't Bravery gain. Damn, it's all Bravery damage, I forgot. Whoops. Oh, we got the buff up. We got the B1 below the 74%, so it's going to lose its Body of Steel. And then we're going to get some turns here. Yeah, take some more chip damage. Grand Horn. Defense down on Ramza, that's not great. There's some more ticks. Grand Horn on Gilgamesh. Def down as well. We're going to try and avoid them getting too many turns here anyway, so not super worried about the defense down, but it's not great. Alright. Royal Sword, perfect. We can Alphinaud back up in the turn order. That's going to jump everyone forward. That's actually really lucky. Like, this could have gone much worse if I didn't get something like Royal Sword there. So we'll get the B1 down. We're going to go ahead and hit our Ultimate Illusion here, because we're going to get that buff up before we go into the burst phase with Gilgamesh. We want to get the A boss below the 74% lose Body of Steel as well first, but we're going to try and line that up very soon, so we want to get as many of our requisite buffs up and stuff ahead of time, because this is the biggest like sort of HP buff we've got, because it's not until 20% for the next one, so we need to make sure we make the most of this opportunity window we've got here. A is also going to lose its Body of Steel here in a moment, so it's going to definitely help us out. There we go. And now with Alphinaud, get some more chip. We're going to target A, we're going to go down, we're going to use Piercing Gleam from Jack. And get those buffs up, or debuffs I should say up, start them stacking. Just got to get them stacked as much as possible. We'll go ahead and use Ninja Slice as well. These bosses have a lot less HP than I was expecting them to have. This is my first time to this fight, so hoping this will all sort of work out pretty well. No reason it shouldn't, obviously, so we'll switch in Exdeath. And because he's a friend, we can just use his regular burst effect here, because Exdeath doesn't have his burst realization yet, you know, I hope it comes soon, obviously. I really like FF5, so having Exdeath in the party with Gilgamesh should be really cool. But this one's always a good one, because it's so much HP damage, and it's every turn. So we will go ahead here, and we're going to try and use as many turns in a row as we can. So we will hit Ice Brainstorming Winter again, cap out on Ramza, that should get the delay on both. Enough that we can get Gilgamesh back into turn order, which is perfect. We don't need to use any of the calls on Ramza, because we don't need to cleanse those debuffs. We're not really going to plan on letting the bosses get too many more turns if we can help it. But we will go ahead and hit the Innovate Triple Plus there. We want to get those debuffs up, maximize their damage output best we can. Oh, down below 50% already. Okay, this is going better than I thought it was going to go. Katana Wounds is maxed out on A, so we're getting as much extra bravery damage as we can there. We might launch A, because we don't want to launch B and get it too low. So Heavenly Fist, we'll put Ramza next to the turn order, because we want to keep Exdeath's turn count on that BT aura as high as possible, so we get as much damage out of it as we can. Not that he's going to get a turn, nor is Ramza really here, because it's going to go back to Gilgamesh. But we want to get the call up. And normally I'd use an LD sword outside of burst here, but we're getting low, so we're just going to go ahead and just jump straight in here. Biomiasma 2 and the Absolute Power of the Void, so much. Oh, interesting, B got a turn jump ahead there, I think. Whoops. Oh, I didn't realize it was going to happen, but no harm done. We will go ahead and hit the burst button here. And we've got Apocalypse, perfect. Then neither of them are in Body of Steel, so we can get the delay. We'll get the delay up. We'll go ahead and jump in here with the launch. Lots of damage. Hopefully the bravery funds from these launches should be enough to keep us going. We will hit Hurricane, get some more delay up. I want to push their turns back as far as possible before they get their Body of Steel up again, so as much delay as we can get here before they hit 20% HP on Gilgamesh, the better. Damn, they're getting down low real fast. Alright, I'm going to change targets over to B. Hopefully we get another Apocalypse or Ice Brand would be good. Mythgraven Blade's not ideal, but it's still going to hit nice and hard. We're still going to get the launches there from Sid. We'll keep an eye on the HP, because if their HP starts getting too low, we'll stop getting HP damage out as launches, and we'll start grabbing some Bravery. Because we want to try and, obviously, like I said, not waste too much damage from those launches on them while they're in the Body of Steel. Go ahead and use the LD here. We're just trying to maximize their damage output before they hit that 20% threshold. Not the biggest launches. Probably could use something like Kate Sis Call on Ramza instead, now that I think about it, because it doesn't look like they're going to get any critical debuffs on us that we need Ceodore for, so if you're trying a similar combination, I'd recommend going with that instead. Ice Brand, perfect. So this is basically a double launch because of the Sid, but also Ice Brand. This one's getting down to almost 20%. 22%. This burst finisher might not be as strong as it usually would be. Yeah, that's going to be a bit of a... Damn, I didn't get the burst off early enough. This is our burst finisher from Gilgamesh. It's going to be pretty weak, actually. We'll see how we go, though. 19% on that one, 20% on the other. Oh, at least I'm not completely bravery starved for it from both targets. Like, oh no, now it's gonna get body. Oh, it didn't get body still up. Okay, good. I hope. Fingers crossed. Let's see. Oh, maybe they can't get body. No, I did get body still up. I was gonna be like, maybe it can't during the burst effect, but no, I did get it up. 783. That's not as much as I would have hoped for, but now they're both basically past that body of steel anyway, so body of steel cancelled. It's gonna body of steel and then cancel it. Cool. That's what we wanted to see for that one. If we're going to get them down that low, we wanted to see that body of steel cancel coming out of the burst effect, because now we can do things like this, which is going to be really fun. Just go ahead and go straight into launches. Just maximize our damage output here as much as we possibly can. Yeah, these bosses aren't going to last too much longer. So this is definitely an effective team. Exdeath, Friend, or Alphinaud. Either on, like, I'm getting basically the benefits of both poisons here, so this is even better than just running one or the other. But either of them can really make this fight into basically a no-brainer, I think, at this point. Well, not exactly no-brainer. You do have to do a bit of calculations to avoid the body of steel and stuff like that. But yeah, makes it more easily manageable. You don't have to worry about the orb. You just have to worry about any of your other combat conditions you're dealing with here. So, like, they're over to Dragon and stuff on some of these bosses. So we don't have to worry about type weaknesses if we were running any of those, but we're not, so nothing too bad there. We'll just Maelstrom with the Exdeath Friend here. Launch into basically nothing, but they're going to take a lot of HP damage here. Oh, sadly, HP damage can't kill bosses. Like, they're going to hit 1% HP and then stay there. Which sucks, but that's just how it goes. Oh, we could use... should use Summon Phase there. That was... Don't make the same mistakes I do. Don't try and rush through these things. I should have used my Summon Phase there. I would have prevented any of this from happening. Wouldn't have taken any HP damage at all, even if they are over the HP cap because of the Mythgraven Blade. Still would have been much better to not take any HP damage. And meanwhile, the orb is, you know, like, completely under control. And they're, like I said, basically at, you know, no HP. But still, this could have been handled much better. And now I'm going to have to heal everybody, because they took HP damage as well. They're basically going to be dead, you know, at the end of this anyway, but... Well, I may not have brought Kate, so they may have got less damage out of those launches, but... let's just say I planned ahead. Let's pretend this was intentional, that we had to heal here for the end here, instead of it being me messing up the whole entire thing and not using my summon phase like an idiot. But that's going to heal everybody up. That's going to finish off the boss with Ceodore. Oh no, they didn't finish off B. Alright, interesting. Let's just get in with the HP triple plus. That's it, that's the fight over. Not too hard. A lot of these fights haven't been recently, though, for the Lufenia Pluses. I mean, having multiple burst characters level 90, ultimate weapons and stuff like that is not the hardest content we're dealing with, and hasn't been for a while. But it's still fun to do and everything like that. We're still waiting on the announcement for the next difficulty in Global. If anyone who's played anything with JP or keeping up with it knows what's coming, so... But with all that covered, we'll just look at the party here. Not perfect artifacts in the Exdeath frame, that's fine. You don't really need them when you're just using them for the BT call. Everybody else has really good artifacts. Missing one on Alphinaud there, and he's also not level 90 yet. So his damage could have been much higher there as well, with a few more levels, and also the crystal level up and ultimate weapon, etc, etc. Realized his armor. You know, there's lots of other opportunities there to maximize the damage output from Alphinaud there if you really needed it. But, you know, it was 13 turns, well over the score count, and no HP damage, so no real need to do that. So we are all done with that. If you have any questions about how to do this fight, or you'd like any further assistance, please ask in the comments down below. I'd like to thank you for watching. I'll catch you in the next Lufenia boss fight, which will be coming very soon, because the new event just came out today. I'm a bit late getting this one out. And that's it for me, so Otso Avi.